Hello, welcome back. I'm Darren, and today I woke up to the news that FSR 3.1 was out, and the hype was absolutely insane. So, unfortunately, the hype for me was a little bit short-lived, as I realised that none of the games that I own happen to have FSR 3.1. Some of them I can't even own, as I am region locked, so that's a bit of a shame. And yeah, unfortunately, I didn't have any games, so I've... Luckily, there is a Steam sale on at the moment, so I've purchased the only one that I thought I might actually play. And now we are checking it out. So, I'll quick run through the settings so we can check that out. So we are at 1440p. We've got VSync turned off. This isn't a performance test, so it doesn't particularly matter. But we are running at the moment we're running at native, so we're at TAA. We're not using any upscaling method. We're not using any frame generation. And in the graphics, I've set everything to the highest possible graphics available. I've left the sharpest at whatever it was set to its standard. Now I've turned motion blur off because that isn't going to help. And I think I turned this radial blur off because anything that says blur to me is not particularly helpful when you're testing for ghosting or something like that. So we've cranked that off. And yes, so at the moment we're at TAAA, and the first thing that I've noticed, and like, I'm going to be honest, I'm going to be fussy, because what is the point in doing something like this if you're not going to be fussy, right? If I just shrug off everything, then there's no argument to be had. So I am going to be fussy, because if someone really wants to see the, you know, the nitpicking, gritty details, then this will be them. If that's going to annoy you, then I apologise, but I don't see another way of doing this type of thing unless I'm going to be fussy, and I don't have a horse in the game. So I personally would like to use my XTX more than I do, and the reason I don't is because of FSR. I want it to improve. I want to use that that system more than what I do. I did buy it for a purpose, and at the moment I'm kind of struggling to use it, and the reason is FSR free, so I am fussy. So I'm gonna probably, as you can see, I've only just purchased this game, so unfortunately I'm gonna have to play through it to probably get to some areas where I can properly test it. But I did notice something instantly at the start of the game, so I'm just gonna go through this little area first, and then I'm going to play on a bit in the game, probably find an area where I can probably test a lot of various other things. And then I'll just obviously edit it into this after. So the first thing that I kind of notice in this area is water. So as you can see, we're running, this is obviously 1440p TAA, and you can kind of see, I mean, I'm not going to say it's particularly nice, but whatever the water I assume is supposed to look like, this is it. And you kind of get probably a similar thing like in this area now. You can see where you've got like this water kind of streaming down. And it'll kind of drip, and then it'll stream and all the rest of it, which is fine. And then you kind of get a similar thing over here. So we'll just run behind this. See, like, this water is kind of, it's a bit of a strange look to it. And then obviously there's this waterfall over here if this guy gets out my way. And then you've kind of got an area here where you've got this water like dripping, and like it will stream down in places, it will drip down in places. Obviously there's no ghosting or anything going on. 1440p is not bad on shimmering, I suppose. nothing horrendous with native. So the TAA seems to cope quite well with this at 1440p. So next we will try. What should we try first? I don't know the best way to do this. I'm on the RTX 4080, and the reason is because that gives me the choice of using all of the upscalers. Now I will do this on the XTX for clarity after, because I know some people say that FSR works better on an AMD GPU than a NVIDIA GPU, and we'll get through that. So yes, I don't know what's the best way to go about this. We could go just straight. We'll go to DLSS. We'll go at quality, and we'll see how well that handles these issues. So DLSS quality, yeah, go with that. Obviously, we're not using frame generation or anything. So we've got no ghosting. You're seeing stuff flying past the screen. That's all good. You can see this water still kind of streams down and drips down. The water clarity behind it looks good. The waterfall is, whatever the waterfall is doing, it kind of looks the same. I'm not going to say it's a particularly nice look, but that's fine. So I'll be honest, I don't see a great deal of difference. You can kind of see the water dripping down behind me. I don't see a great deal of difference between DLSS at quality and native. So we'll check out these drops. Everything kind of looks pretty similar. And overall, I think that is, I don't see a difference. So if you're looking for extra performance, even at 1440p, it's a pretty good implementation of DLSS. I'm happy to play it like this. Absolutely no problems at all. Now, when we go to FSR, so obviously I've just installed this game. I've gone back. I did check that the update has happened because I wasn't sure. Because obviously when you go into this menu, it's not labeled as FSR 3.1. So I've gone back into Steam. I've double checked it. I've exited from Steam. I've reloaded it because I wanted to make sure I was using the update. It tells me that I'm using the update unless someone else has FSR 3.1 that I'm not aware of. I don't know. So I can only go by what I've got and what I believe to be right. So we'll go with that. We will apply it. And yeah, I don't quite know what it's doing there, but it seems to kind of have some kind of artifactual line where it no longer has that that kind of movement of water spreading out. It seems to be on some sort of like holographic line. So the first thing I thought is, okay, it's not particularly handling water very well. If we go back to native quickly. To show you, obviously it kind of, you see obviously this water down here kind of like breaks up and splits apart and does what it does, and then the line kind of moves around and disappears and comes back. Kind of gives you a bit more of a, you know, a feeling of like a different volume of water kind of dripping down. So with we'll go back to DLSS. Oh god, not that. Yes. And that kind of still kind of retains the same thing. I mean, if anything, it might look... I think it's down to personal choice. I'm not sure if it looks better or worse. Or almost the same. Whereas if we go into... I'm not going to get used to this menu. We go to FSR, apply that. And it just does some kind of really strange, like, it's just like a pixelated lump. So that's the first thing that I noticed, and I kind of noticed it instantly. And you can either live with it or you can't. I didn't think it looked particularly nice, but it wouldn't stop me from playing it. So that was the first thing I noticed, and then I kind of noticed again with like these, the drips kind of looked a little bit strange, as if there was a bit of artifacting, and then maybe the water looked a little bit fizzly. I mean, that's nothing crazy. I think this waterfall down here is probably not quite as apparent. It's definitely got this like, I don't know what to call it. It's not art. Well, I suppose you would call it artifacting. I'm not sure. But, and then kind of, I think the water here was kind of like, I don't know if it's ghosting or if it's just, it's not running down in kind of like the streaks like it was. It seems to be a bit strange looking. There's no ghosting in the objects, so that seems to handle it fine. I mean, we're at 1440p with quality. I'm not going to go into like ultra performance or anything like that. I suppose these bugs are maybe starting to ghost. Yeah, okay. So the little bugs that you can see around the screen, they're ghosting a bit. You can kind of... The big stuff seems fine. So it's just kind of in the little details. Yeah, the little details are doing it. Let's have a look and see if DLSS does that, because DLSS does tend to ghost a bit. Not that. That. DLSS quality. Yes. Apply that. Yeah. I'm not going to say it's without ghosting. There is a very small amount, not as bad. I don't know if this will come through in the recording, so you can either take my word for it or call me out as a liar. It's totally fine. There is a tiny bit. It's almost like there's a little bit as they kind of pop in and then fizzle out. So it's almost like it leaves a little bit of a trail as it fizzles out. Obviously I'm talking about like these little bits in this area that you'll see. So, not bad. The big stuff flying past, like the bigger bugs and the butterflies when they come past, fine. Absolutely no ghosting in that. It's just those little small parts. So if we go back to FSR 3 again, staying the same. This is just equality. Oh, did I apply that? Yeah, I must have applied that. So yeah, you can definitely see they're leaving like, I mean, that one left like a trail that was almost like that length until it fizzled out. So the bigger stuff, fine, not a problem. Like I said, I am being fussy. Yeah, so there is, if you kind of keep an eye on it, if it comes up in the YouTube, after YouTube, you can kind of see that there's quite a bit of ghosting in the smaller objects. As far as fizzling, fine. Certainly in this area, maybe a little bit in that kind of distant tree, but it's actually hard to tell, because what it could be is all these little particles in front of you that are kind of would make it appear like it's fizzing. So I'm going to probably try and get to a different area. Yeah, there is actually quite a lot of ghosting that you can see on the screen now. Not from the big stuff, just from the tiny stuff. I'm going to assume if we go to native, I'm going to assume that is not going to exist. So we'll apply that, yes. So yeah, no. So that's completely ghosting free. I can't see anything there. No. Just go back to DLSS. I don't want this video to take too long because I plan to go to a different area. Where are we? Upscale method, DLSS, at quality, apply, yes. No, that looks pretty solid. I did see some in that other view. A very small amount. I'm not seeing anything here as such. So that's all pretty good. So as far as I've seen so far, the water seems to be an issue. And it is adding a bit of ghosting. Now, whether that's because we'll find out later, maybe it's filtering a bit more to get rid of the shimmering, and in turn that's added the ghosting. I don't know. But we will find out. So if we just go quickly back to FSR 3, apply that, yes. So yeah, there's definitely quite a bit. Only on the small stuff. It seems to handle the bigger objects fine. Just the smaller details. So, but overall, I'd play with it. It's not bad. I think that was kind of the more thing that I thought just looked really strange. Now, we could try XCSS. In fact, to be fair, I'm not actually seeing the ghosting now. Huh. That's interesting. It looked like it was. Now it's not particularly looking like it is so much. There was some quite bad ghosting before. Let's have a look. Okay, so there still is in that area. Maybe it's when it comes down through that fog. Yeah. So some of it does, some of it doesn't, depending on maybe the size of the particle. It's not bad. I mean, that really is kind of, you know, searching. I think the water is obvious. The ghosting isn't as bad. Some of it looked, I think the random one, maybe compared to what the distance was from the screen, showed up quite bad, but yeah. So there is some. I've just seen a few go past that look like they're ghosting, but it doesn't seem to make any difference on movement. But anyway, I'll stop it there and I will move on. I'll move on into the game a bit. Probably unlock maybe an area where we've got, so yeah, one just went down and left like a trail about that long. I'll move into a different area and see what I can find, basically, if there is anything to find. Yeah, we'll get on to the next area. Okay, so I've just headed into literally another 10 seconds of gameplay. Down into this area, noticed this water and thought, it doesn't look particularly attractive. So at the moment we are using FSR 3. We will go to native. And it has a far better kind of reflection look, more detailed look to it. Definitely looks a lot more natural and kind of nicer looking. It's probably quite a good area actually, where you can see all like the little bugs flying around and stuff as well. So yeah, I thought that straight away, as soon as I turned it back to native, looked a bit more kind of reflective and glossy and natural looking. We will check it with DLSS. Which looks the same to me. A lot of reflection in it, kind of a very glossy looking altogether. Looks pretty good to me. You can kind of see it there in the pause screen. There's a lot kind of going on. And then if we go to FSR 3, apply that, yes. It seems to go very kind of blurry, I think is the word for it. It seems to lose, it doesn't look like water anymore. It kind of looks like, I don't know, like a fog or something. It's, yeah, that's probably the worst thing I've seen so far. Not particularly great, that. We can try XCSS and see what that looks like, because we didn't try that up at the top. That looks better, yeah. So definitely, I'd say FSR is unfortunately the worst one from the lot. Something looks a little bit strange with that. I'm not quite sure what, but it has that kind of, it looks like water. It has that reflective kind of icy cold looking water, the same as it does with native. So apply that, yes, yes, yeah. In fact, if anything, let's have a look. No, wrong one. That one. I almost think DLSS looks the nicest of the lot there. How, I don't know. But definitely, there seems like quite a lot of like ripple detail showing up with like reflections in that. Whereas, like I said, with FSR, it loses a lot and just turns into kind of a far lower resolution looking water. It looks like it's just dropped resolution by quite a lot. So unfortunately, water is definitely an issue. I'm going to try and move somewhere now and see if I can see any kind of my main problem with FSR is the shimmering, which tends to happen kind of at longer distance in a lot of like fine foliage and stuff like that. So I'll try and move somewhere else and see what else I can find. So I'll stop it here. Yeah, so I didn't get far. To the point of I might just actually carry on recording rather than keep stopping, because I'm probably going to notice quite a lot. So instantly I kind of ran around the corner, got to this kind of open area, and instantly noticed that this water looks really low resolution. So water, definitely a problem. If we have a look, so obviously we are on FSR 3.1, whatever you want to call it at the moment, and it doesn't look particularly attractive. We will go on to, we'll just go through them. XCSS, try that. That looks a lot better. Looks reflective, the ripples look great. It's got that three-dimensional look to it. Go to native. That looks even better still. Has that kind? It has a better transparency to it. Yeah, that looks really good. And then we'll go to DLSS. Keep doing the wrong one. And again, that looks a lot better. It's hard to really say. I think native does look a bit better than DLSS. I think you lose a little bit of the transparency. but it still has that kind of glossy look of water, whereas unfortunately for FSR, it looks terrible. It looks kind of it looks matte finish. It doesn't have a gloss to it. You lose all kind of the transparent details, and it kind of adds. It's kind of like what it looked on the other thing. It just adds this almost like, I don't know what it is. It's like a cloud effect rather than a water effect. Huge difference. I mean, I said I was going to be fussy. I don't think this is particularly being fussy. I think this is completely obvious. Yeah. Far different. Like I said, we'll go to native. I'm not saying DLSS is perfect at this. We'll quick go to native. Oh god, I don't want to do that either. But I don't think it was far off native. No, I don't think it's far off native at all. So, definitely, unfortunately, a bit of an issue with water with FSR 3. I mean, the only other thing I did notice is, at the moment, I'll tell you what, this is actually really impressive at 1440p. See, a lot of the games that I actually personally played don't look particularly good at 1440p, which is a bit annoying. This looks actually very good at 1440p, and it's keeping its sharpness and moving. Now, when I run into this area, I thought that... oh god, I don't want to do that either. Not that I don't think it matters. With FSR, it seemed a bit blurry on movement. So yeah, it does kind of blur a bit on movement. Now DLSS might do exactly the same thing. I mean, to be fair, that is fussy. It's not bad. You probably wouldn't notice it that much. I thought that it was just my typical kind of 1440p blur, so I didn't particularly think much of it. What's a water layer down there look like? It doesn't look particularly good, does it? Let's have a look. I need to get to grips with this menu. So that's with FSR. Let's go to native. Yeah, it's got a far more depth to the water, a reflective kind of rippling effect. Looks a lot, just looks a higher resolution. And then if we go to DLSS quality, yes, and that looks the same. So that looks quite good. It has that kind of glossiness and depth to it. That just FSR seems to be really struggling with water. I'm not sure if I've noticed this in other games. But I don't know if I play games where it's really that noticeable with running water. So, where are we? Yeah, FSR 3, yes, yes. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. It almost looks like a completely different art style. It doesn't have a reflection. It doesn't look transparent anymore. It almost looks like an artwork of water rather than a realistic water, if that makes sense. Like a Japanese type thing. So, yeah, unfortunately, water is definitely an issue. Now, could I play with it like that? Yes. Would I want to? I don't know. It's not the end of the world. It doesn't, like that doesn't look particularly attractive. So look. Oh shit, not that. I'd much rather play it like that. That actually looks like water. So, yeah. I don't know if I'm following the task I'm supposed to be doing. Like that looks... That's actually a really good game implementation of water. Let's have a look. Probably doesn't look as bad. Maybe when you get closer to it, it doesn't look as good. But it doesn't look as bad close up. That doesn't look great. But maybe this won't either. I haven't looked at any of this, so you know, I'm finding this the exact same time as I'm recording it. Nah, that definitely has more of a transparent, glossy look. A lot nicer. Looks like water. We'll just try it native as well. I don't think there's much difference between native and DLSS. There's a big difference between them and FSR. So yeah, that doesn't look good. That really doesn't. It looks like foggy soup. Like, unfortunately, this water's got some pretty damn bad pollution going on. Yeah. Okay. Let's crank on and see if there's anything to be found that isn't water, because I'm sure people are... Am I supposed to do something here? Do I shoot this? Can I even shoot things? Oh, I haven't even got any arrows. See, is this where I'm at in this game? Is this what I'm supposed to do? I don't play these games. Oh, no, I'm supposed to do something here, aren't I? So, bear with me. Right, I'm at this carcass. What am I supposed to do? Examine. How do I examine it? Not like that. Definitely not like that. Is that examine? Nope. God damn. Not much of a tutorial going on here, is there? What do I have to do to examine? Somebody scream at the PC. I'm going to assume this is the point where it would have helped if I had have played this game or the previous game. Okay, so I will stop the recording. In fact, should we check out this waterfall that looks pretty bad? Is that a thing? Settings, display. Do you look better with DLSS? I don't know. Marginally, maybe. Do you look better with native? No, I don't know. I take it that's just the kind of pixelated dropping look that it has. I mean, if native is king, which a lot of people say native is king, then I'm going to assume DLSS isn't far off it. But if... What was FSR look like? I can't remember now. Yeah. I don't know what it's doing there. It's just low res again, isn't it? It kind of all looks a lot lower resolution. So, and I think it kind of loses a lot of its detail down here. So, I'm going to stop here and try and figure out what the hell I'm supposed to be doing in this game and how to look at what I'm supposed to be looking at, and then try and move on to a different area. Okay, so I was kind of still stuck here because I have no idea what I'm supposed to be doing with this stupid thing stood behind me. But I kind of turned on this angle and I thought this was actually a really good angle to show it up, because if you didn't really see it in my other pictures coming through YouTube, hopefully this angle would show it up, because what I see does look quite bad, as in it does not look like water. It kind of looks like an oil painting. Got a bit of like a Monet going on here, which is, you know, I respect Monet, but in a game, I'm not sure. So yeah, I don't know what's going on there. It's like a 2D blurry, not particularly great. We'll see what it looks like at native, and I'll hold on to it for a minute, and then hopefully you get... XCSS doesn't do very well here either. I did have a quick look. So we'll go to native, and as you can see, it has that real kind of like a transparency kind of... You'll know what water looks like, right? I don't need to explain it to you. So yeah, that looks good. Looks reflective. There's a lot of details in it. We'll go to DLSS, add quality, and the same, it has that depth to it, that reflectiveness to it. All good. And then we'll go to the oil painting, that is FSR 3. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. I never played this game. Obviously, I've just downloaded the game, and clearly, as you can see, I'm not a Horizons player because I don't even know how to get past a fucking tutorial area. But there's a lot of ghosting here as well. A lot of those bugs on screen over the water are ghosting quite badly. But yeah, obviously, like I said, I'm just checking it out, and people might think I'm being fussy, and that's perfectly fine, because if I'm not being fussy, then what's the point? We are looking at fine details, we are looking at small details, or we're not looking at all. That's what I think. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't play the game because of this, or you shouldn't enjoy the game because of this. Obviously, there's a lot of talk about the huge improvement in the FSR, so it's only fair that I check it out and see for myself. And certainly at the moment, I'm seeing a lot of ghosting and a lot of low resolution looking water. Is it as good as DLSS, which is something that I heard this morning? Make your mind up. I don't know. If this comes through on screen, I don't think you need me to tell you. Unfortunately, from what I'm seeing at the minute, it's miles apart. Like I said, should that stop you from enjoying a game? Absolutely not. No chance whatsoever. But personally, if I'm playing this game right now, I'm playing it with this. I'm certainly not playing it with FSR. And that's probably about the best I can give you. So probably what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to end it here, and then I'm going to play some of the game, and then I'm going to probably try and move away from water, and maybe get to some kind of foliage type thing later on in the game, once I've figured out how to get past this, whatever I'm supposed to be doing here, which is giving me no button prompt. Someone tell me the game's broken and it's not just me being stupid. But yeah, as far as it goes, as you can see, water with DLSS quality looks really good. Really good. As far as it goes with FSR 3, it doesn't look very good. It loses its transparency, So it's obviously filtering out whatever is below it, and then when you look at kind of it in distances like this, it kind of looks like a water painting. It loses everything that makes it look like water. So yeah, that isn't right, unfortunately. Now hopefully that's something they can work on. I don't know, you can kind of make out there's some fish over there. I wonder if you can see them a bit better. I don't know if they eat you or not. I don't think you particularly see through. Let's have a look. What did I put on DLSS? Yes, let's go to native. No, so that's kind of no different. I actually think DLSS makes the water look better. Is that a thing? Doesn't make it look like a money, that's for sure. Nope. Yes. It's really hard pushed. I don't know. I can't do like a full-on analysis with the tools I have available, but like, yeah, it just holds on to that look of water. Whereas with FSR, it just turns it into like it looks like an oil painting. Very strange. But like I said, I'm gonna leave it there, and then I'll probably upload this as it is, and then move further into the game and see if I can find any other type of issues. But yeah, I'm not. When it comes to the water, unfortunately, FSR's got some issues. I'd love to know if anyone has. Obviously, people must have played this game. Be interesting to know if FSR, before the update, if the water looked better, because I'm quite surprised at how kind of smudgy and not particularly nice that looks. I'll leave it there, and then I will catch you in the next one.